Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It is time to continue the news when it comes to War Thunder because Gaijin has decided to basically smash everything together in the last few days. It's kind of getting a little bit tiresome when it comes to War Thunder where like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing really happens. Thursday, Friday, absolute bedlam. Basically, there's just like stuff all over the place. And so in this video, we're going to go through a bunch of the stuff that basically came out over the last few days. There will also be videos tomorrow covering some of the more minor stuff. There's just been a lot going on. And with the end of the Twitch drops, which, have happened now, it's basically time for me to catch up, have a look at a bunch of stuff, and have a bit of fun with you guys. So, as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe, and let's get started into it. The first one, there's a ton of sales going on. First of all, you have the Publisher Spotlight sale on Xbox. We obviously had some very positive Xbox news recently, where now Xbox players can play on PC without having to migrate their accounts. You still have to use everything through Microsoft, but the fact that you can swap platforms simultaneously is really awesome, and it seems to kind of celebrate that from the from the packs that they have on the store from the 14th of August to the 27th. There is a 50% off sale for Xbox players. So basically, like all of the high tier packs, and even some of them which are a little bit lower. So what I'll do is I'll go through all of these quickly. So just small reviews of each of them, just to kind of let you yay or nay kind of deal. Wyvern is a yes. This vehicle gets an air spawn in air realistic. It's good in ground as well because of its payload. It's very good multi-role vehicle, very easy to grind events with since it is also high rank for its BR. So this one, it works very well. Arkansas is just a worse version of what's in the tech tree, so that's a no. Term 3 is the most broken vehicle I think I've ever seen when it comes to ground, and Gaijin refuses to put it up in BR. This is a definite yes. T-29 is also incredibly good at 7.0 and a fun American heavy tank, a yes. So is the Samua for the same reason, apart from it has an autoloader, so it's even better. And 7.7 France is just insane right now. The J37DI Vigan is probably a no, just because of the simple fact it is quite expensive, even 50% off. And then the other part of it is the simple fact that it's in that active radar homing meta, and if you're a new player going into that area, you don't really want to play this Vigan because there are much better vehicles that you're going to face, and you're just going to get your head plonked off. So that's going to be a no. Mustang is just a standard one in the mid-tiers for America. It's cheap. It works well as a premium. There's no issues with it. Yamashiro is a worse version of the one in the tech tree. The T80 UI, the UI is fine. It works well. It's just a T80, basically, that they've stuck in the game at 11.7 by not giving it the best round that the Soviets got access to, but it basically has everything that you would want from that type of vehicle. Same with like the Leopard 2A4M can for Germany. All of these kind of 11.7 vehicles, so the Ram Seagull as well, at I think this one's at 11.3 or 11.7. Basically, all of these types of vehicles, they're all great premiums, but just understand you will go up against vehicles that are better than you, so they kind of have the same problem as the Yamashiro and also the Arkansas. So if that kind of puts you off, then you should go for something like the Christian, for example, which is a little bit lower in BR, where you can kind of basically just boss that BR instead. Type 16 FPS, super mobile vehicle, great thermals, and also a very good scout vehicle. One of the best vehicles in the game at that role. AVAB Night Attack is very good at CAS. So if you don't have a CAS element for America at that BR and you want to use something in ground, it's worth it. If you want it for air, probably not going to work very well. The A10A Thunderbolt is kind of the same. I think there are better options, but it seems like people gravitate towards it. So it's fine, but you rely on your team a lot with it, and generally that's not what you want to do. Su-39 is annoying to fight, I think is probably the way I would put it. It's a vehicle which has access to the R73s, which of course are annoying as all hell, and in ground it does have some quite nice munitions too. So the Su-39 I would say is actually pretty nice pick. The Bison is good if you can make its missiles and its radar work, and this is more, I feel like the Bison is a vehicle for an experienced player. So if you are not an experienced player and you haven't played radar areas you haven't used semi-actives before, you don't want to buy the Bison. But if you have, and you want kind of like a boost into the British tech tree, it's a completely fine vehicle. The F4S is a missile bus, so it has a pretty decent radar for what it does. It also is a better version of the one that's in the tech tree, the F4J, which is kind of funny. And it's, I mean, it was the most popular vehicle last year for a reason. I don't know if it's still the case with the Hornet in the game, but they basically play on the same side, so it generally works well. Ram Seagull is fine. It's probably the weakest out of the premiums that you can get at top tier, but it will generally still work. And the Object 140 is going up in BR right now, so I'm guessing people really enjoy it and are doing well in it. So I suppose that's that. So it's a fine premium. It works really well. There are better ones in the Russian tech tree to consider. But if you are looking for one to kind of grind through the high tiers of Russia, it's not a bad one. It'll work pretty well. So that's the export sale. It's kind of cool. If you want like my top 3 suggestions, the Samua, definitely. The Term 3, definitely. And then, as I said, if you're experienced, the MiG-21 Bison. If you're not, something like the Type 16 or the STR-V121 will work fantastically as a set of vehicles. So those are the ones I would recommend. The naval ones are pretty weak, and also the air ones could be better, I think is the way to put it. The next article is about the F-89D, which is back. This is on a discount for its anniversary flights. This is going to be available over the weekend. 30% discount, still pretty pricey for what it is. This thing is kind of cool because it has access to proximity rockets, which basically means that you just have to get the rockets near the target. So you can actually aim this thing a little bit further away from where you actually have to go, or a little bit further distance, and you can destroy targets with it. It's a great way of catching people out, and also the vehicle is at a BR where it's actually very fast and also pretty maneuverable. So you can catch a lot of people out in head-ons, and also a lot of people out just by using this thing because they won't realize what's going on. But also, it's kind of a novelty aircraft. It's not really good in any other way apart from in Air Realistic or Air Arcade doing that. So I would say it's not a great vehicle for grinding, but if you want a bit of fun, it's kind of similar to the Calliope, right? The Calliope is a bit of fun. It's a bit of enjoyment, but it's not great, but it's still enjoyable to do. Lanovski's is back, the good old P47M1RE, and also they are bringing in a decal for it as well. They celebrate Lanovski's birthday every year. He was basically a Polish pilot who fought for the Polish, and then the British, and then the Americans, and then even the Russians. He was Mr. Worldwide when it came to the Allies, and also has a really interesting story behind him. It's basically a copy-paste, though, of the P47M1RE, which is one of the most powerful P47s in the game, and is very good in air, very good in ground, and very good in naval. It's able to carry 2 1000s and 1 500, all independent drops, so that basically means that you can get 3 targets hit with them, and then also rockets on top of it if you want to. You can also get yourself this decal. It's the emblem of the 1st Krechauch Ulan Regiment. You just need 3,000 mission points with US or British vehicles at rank 3 or higher. So if you're doing the event right now for the F-106, you can actually grind this out pretty easily, so might be worth having a look at. But yeah, Lanovski's P47 is really good, but if you already have the P47 M1RE, which is another premium in the American tech tree, there's not really much point in it, apart from you get a cool camo with this cool insignia on it. Another vehicle that they're bringing back is the Huey, the UH-1C XM30. This was the first premium kind of American vehicle they added for the helicopter area, and the difference between this and a standard Huey is the fact that it gets access to a funny gun. It basically gets a 40mm M75 grenade launcher, and also the TOW 80 gems, which is actually the thing that you take. So this vehicle is fine. There's nothing really crazy about it. It's just something which is just a Huey with it's a Huey which has access to a modification in the form of a gun that you'll never use. So it's basically just a tow Huey. So if you like tow Hueys, it'll work well. If you don't, then you won't. There are better premiums right now, especially the Comanche which can grind out stuff better. And I don't think this thing is worth 6,000 golden eagles. That's a lot of money for something like this. So I wouldn't recommend it. It does get the funny 30mm XM140. That's the kind of unique thing on it, the kind of prototype idea that they put on. But yeah, as I said, it just doesn't really, doesn't really add anything to it, and you just take the toes anyway, or the rockets, depending on if you're running forward. You can actually get the emblem of the Easy Company, though. Good old Kurahi, the 506th Parachute Regiment, famous obviously from the Band of Brothers and also many other things, but their Second World War exploits are probably some of the most famous in the American Armed Forces of the war. But all you got to do is play US aircraft, 3,000 mission points over the weekend, and you can get yourself this decal. So once again, just grinding the F-106, you'll be able to get this, which is kind of cool. The next piece of news is the Hercules Cup has concluded. So all of the CCs who took part in that have now finished. It was basically like a weekly competition, and pretty cool to see that Hercules did this. They also did all the Twitch drops. They were the guys who were kind of sponsoring the whole thing for the 3-week period. So thank you to Hercules and also Thrustmaster for what they ended up doing. Their products are pretty interesting if you are an aspiring streamer. Basically, what you have with them is microphones and kind of physical audio studios. So you can change physically what your kind of stream hears. So you can hear different stuff to them. So if you want to like play music, but you want to get around copyright, you can use something like this. So you can hear it, but they can't. And then you can also adjust audio levels through it. It's kind of interesting. For me, I use like software to do it, not hardware. But generally, if you are interested in being, I suppose, like a professional streamer, which for me, you know, I'm not, but you can definitely do that, right? Also, they talk about the next tournament that's going to be going on in September. So they'll probably do some esports Twitch drops for that in the playoffs and finals to try and get people interested in watching it. And Thrustmaster is also sponsoring that. Thrustmaster makes some really cool stuff as well. I'm pretty sure Hercules might be a subsidiary of Thrustmaster. I'm not sure, but when you go onto their website, there's like links to like the Thrustmaster stuff too. But Thrustmaster obviously do more stuff like actual like physical joysticks and things, and they make some really cool things that many other companies don't. And I think that's pretty awesome. Like I think it's really cool that War Thunder itself kind of has this niche within a niche, and especially with the more expansion that they do of simulator stuff in the future, it's going to become more part of it, which would be nice. I wish I had more desk space, if I'm honest with you, because I'd probably pick one up. The last piece of news I want to talk about today in this video is something that Esmin said. Now, this was also posted on Twitter or X. I'm calling it Twitter forever. I'm not calling it X. It's a terrible name. But the War Thunder official Twitter, basically, they were getting bombarded by a bunch of Chinese guys. So if you don't know, there was a leak that we covered yesterday from the Vigilante, I think is probably going to be his new name after what's been going on. But basically, it's the Chinese GigaChad. And the Chinese GigaChad leaked the fact that the TIE vehicles for ground were coming in the next major update. And he leaked it basically a few hours before the article came out for, you know, obviously all the stuff that's coming in the next update. And he added a vehicle that wasn't in the article, the VT4, and he added it as a premium. And as I said in the video that we talked about the other day, he also put note that these are some of the upcoming vehicles for the September update. Victory Parade in China is celebrated on the 3rd of September every year to commemorate defeating the Japanese during the Sino-Japanese War. Talk about insensitive timing. And this was about the fact that the VT4 premium was coming in for Thailand into the Japanese tech tree, even though it's a Chinese vehicle, in the September update. And it was a lie. And he literally did it to just gaslight people and get them all pissed off. And this has been... So he did this as well with the Gen 5 aircraft stuff, which he said that they were coming later this year. And now a bunch of, like, basically the team at War Thunder have had to come out and be like, no, They're not coming this year. They're probably gonna be coming in like the late half of next year, but not before then, right? That's what BVD said the other day. And also Esmin confirmed like months ago that no, they're not coming this year. That would make no sense. So this is the second time that this guy has just full on lied because of an agenda driven post. And it was so funny earlier in this year, right? Because some of the elite community got pissed at me because of the fact that my policy is I'll just cover all of the leaks. Because to be honest, I find it fun looking at all the videos, and I also treat them all the same. Because if I didn't do that in the past, and I only like picked and chose the ones which I knew were true, or not knew that were true, what ended up happening is I just got a bunch of angry people which are like, why aren't you covering these? Why aren't you talking about these? What's going on? So nowadays I just cover them all because equal opportunity, it's equal across the board, everybody's happy, everything works. And this means that from my end, I get called a dumbass because what happens is people go, oh, don't you know that this is fake? Oh, look, you got trolled again. Yes, me, I got trolled again. Haha, very funny. You know, I'm just an idiot sat in the corner, like twiddling my thumbs, going, oh, don't know what's going on. But a lot of them got annoyed at me because I was covering all of the other stuff. Because they were like, well, you need to listen to the channels which are mostly correct, or like you need to listen to the official leakers and nobody else. If it isn't from the official leakers, it's not true. Well, twice this year, we have one of the official leakers who have basically lied to people for an agenda to get people angry and annoyed at what Gaijin isn't even doing. So you have a person who in the past has just posted basically, you know, just what the leaks are. A lot of the time have been correct, sometimes have just been wrong. And now that person is using that platform. Now they have popularity to be able to try and pressure the company into making decisions through basically throwing a community at them to try and change things that they think are happening, which aren't happening. This is the same thing that the Chinese technical kind of not moderator, but basically the technical help guy did to Gaijin and also to the community and got him ousted from the Chinese community. Because what he was doing is he was actually doing the opposite. He was egoing in the way that he was withholding information, so therefore certain things wouldn't change because he didn't want them to change, because he threw in his personal opinion on these things. And this is happening exactly again with this goddamn leaker. And man, ego just kills these things all the time. It kills all the fun because then people just start lying about things because they want to be like the center of attention and they want to cause fires. And that's exactly what's happening here. So after that got posted about, you know, the VT4 going to the Japanese tech tree to obviously anger the Chinese player base, guess what? The Chinese player base got angered. And then Gaijin had to go into full damage control and be like, look, this isn't happening. This was never going to happen. And that's exactly what you see here. The rumor is just false. None of it is true. You are just being basically got at to go after the company because that person is pissed off at the company for other reasons. So now you have a situation where you have a person who is using their platform to just send armies of people through lies at others. That's nuts to me. And that's the end of this. You know, there's no nice way you can put this. That shouldn't be happening. And in the past, stuff like this has actually got people gone, got people cancelled and removed. But this won't happen right now. Because first of all, at this moment, it's in the good graces. But this is the second time this year that this has gone on, where it's just been somebody who is trusted has blatantly lied to people's faces to push an agenda in order to attack certain people. So how many times are people going to be okay with this person doing that until it blows up in their face. And maybe it's like 1,000. But after 2 times, I'm pretty much done with it personally. Like the first time, it could just be guesses. This one was obviously targeted, which is just no good. Let me know what your thoughts on it. As always, hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.